Hello guys and welcome to another video. This one's going to be on PUBG's tips and tricks for hopefully to win your chicken dinner. Credits here go to Andy Moore. First thing is where to land, guys. Where do you jump out of your plane and where do you hopefully land to get your good gear, or maybe you don't want to bump into people, or maybe you do want some quick action. If you're looking for some high military loot, military base, and you can stop at the mansion. Hospital's great. Northern part of Georgetown is also good too, guys. The school is probably universally acknowledged as the arena of PUBG, so if you're looking for a nice little PvP action as soon as you land there, the building's the most central landmark on the map, so you can get some fairly decent gear there, but people are often to land there, so expect a fight. Also, it's probably not smart to, if your plane is flying over a main city and you want to land in that main city, if you dive straight down into that main city, it's right underneath your plane, you're probably going to bump into people, guys, so just keep that in mind. Let's check on the armor. So different armor types you guys are going to come across in this map here. There's going to be level 1, 2, and 3, guys. We're going to do helmets and vests. So as you can see here on the screen, level 1 provides 30% damage reduction, and it can take up to 80 points of damage before it breaks. Level 2 is 40% damage reduction and up to 150 points. And then level 3, it's the one you want, provides a 55% damage reduction and can take up to 230 points of damage before it breaks. Guys, that is ridiculous. For the backpacks there, you got 3 levels of backpacks as well. Level 1 can give you 150 capacity, or roughly 60 to 120 rounds. Level 2 can give you 200 capacity, or enough to carry 120 to 180 rounds. Or if you like your heavy machine guns, you can get your level 3 with a 250 capacity, and you're not going to have any problem with carrying an absolute hot mess of ammunition inside that backpack. So hoarding shouldn't be a problem with those level 3 backpacks, guys. So let's move on to healing items. Got 3 healing items that you guys can pick up. This is just straight healing. This isn't healing over time. You got the first aid kit, you got the bandage, and the med kit. And one tips and tricks here is with the bandage, guys, it's the most commonly used healing item that's on the map, okay? And not a lot of people take advantage of how to get your full healing out of your bandages. If you want to maximize the amount of healing with each bandage, wait for 3 ticks before using another one. It actually goes a long ways, guys. Your boosters is your painkillers and energy drinks. Mostly all medical stuff, guys. If you don't have room for it, make room for it, because it's going to be very important here. You can see on the screen, there's a nice little scale here that goes on with the boosters, and it goes up to 4 stages, and the 4th stage can give you a huge running speed. I mean, look at the jump between the 3% and the 4%. I mean, you're talking 2.5 times the speed, versus 6.2. That's huge. And then the healing is obviously really nice too. So just keep this in mind, guys. There's 4 stages for you to be able to use your boosters on for in between the painkillers or the energy drink. So Magnum Dopus, actually, on his channel here, I'll link in the description, he actually explains each one of these down to a math, like a math formula, guys. I would definitely check out his video. It actually helped out a lot. What kind of weapon loadouts? You want a good loadout. Most of the stuff in the beginning of the game, as soon as you land on the ground, it doesn't really matter what you get. A weapon's a weapon, a melee weapon's a melee weapon, but once you get to mid-game to end-game, you kind of want to have a decent weapon layout that makes sense. You don't want to have 2 shotguns. You don't want to have an SKS and a VSS, or you want to kind of keep your loadouts. I mean, I know everybody's different. Some people like to have a really close range weapon with a long range. Some people prefer to have a medium range, maybe an automatic weapon, like an AKM as a secondary, and then something with a long range for their main weapon. Just keep in mind that you want your weapon loadout to make sense, guys. And always make sure, especially if you're carrying double assault rifles here, or if you're carrying a side like I do. I love the SMG in this game. The UMP is my gun to go to in this game. It still is. Make sure that as soon as you pick up that gun and you reload your mag, that you switch it to automatics. This way, when you switch your secondary, it's automatically in full auto, guys, for you guys to be able to melt faces, okay? Alright, next slide we're going to be doing tracking your enemies, okay? It's actually pretty easy. It's a lot easier than a lot of people think, and I know a lot of people skip over this, in the midst of the chaos that's going around you. But all doors to every single house on the map, upon, dropping out of this plane, are all closed, okay? It's really nice to be able to walk up to a house, and as soon as the game starts, and, all the doors are closed, there's nobody that's been there. And there's a lot of people out there that like to close the doors behind them. It makes it a little bit more tricky. But, I mean, if you go inside the house, you can notice that things are out of place. Ammo will be missing from the weapons on the ground, or gear and items are just out of place. If you find a shotgun, right dead center in the front of the door, or, you see... I mean, any weapon. I mean, I've seen a frying pan that was on the ground, but for some reason there was like 2 shotguns that were there with no ammo. It made no sense, but little stuff like that is just that that there's someone been there, and you can actually, follow people, from then on. If you see, up north, the houses, the doors are open, and then, where you were just came in from, those doors were open, so, I mean, you can kind of tell the general direction where everyone's going at. If you look to the west and all the doors are closed, and you probably know your enemy is going up north. Dealing with the red zone. This is something that is incredibly funny when it actually hits you, but the probability of the bombardment actually hitting you is extremely rare. Very, very rare. But anyways, it's a randomly chosen area on the map, and it will glow red. And you'll see this big red circle like that. As soon as the circle appears on the map, it'll take 30 seconds before the bombing is to be commenced. And I'll tell you guys, it's not as threatening as everybody thinks it is. It's definitely in the back of your brain when you're running out in the open, like, hey, I'm going to get one shot by, a random, a bombardment just dropped right on top of me. You are safe inside of houses. However, people have reported that being on the top floor of houses, once it hits the roof, it does kill you. So just watch out for that. So the true enemy of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, this has a few names, guys. You guys can call this the blue, the static field, the lion, whatever it is that you guys want to call this. This, in a certain sense, this is the true enemy of everybody, that's on the battlefield here. There's, if you can see here on the screen here, I'll point out for you. Circle 1 is if you're at full health and you're running through the blue, it takes 4 minutes and 10 seconds for you to without healing for you to completely die. Now look at the last circle, circle 8. You can only survive for 10 seconds, guys, at full health before you die on the last circle. And then in between, it progressively gets worse. Circle 2 is 2 minutes 46 seconds. Circle 3, 2 minutes 5 seconds, and it keeps going down from there. 1 minute 40 seconds. And then it goes down to 34 seconds, then 20 seconds, and then, it starts decreasing on there. Props to YouTuber Fuglit. He actually talks more in depth about this. His link will be in the description. So next, let's talk about the wiggle, guys. Not too many people do this, but, you see a lot of YouTubers when, they're PvPing and making their footage, or streamers and stuff like that. I'm just going to call this a wiggle. This is the same thing as Mr. Moore had said, on the patch notes. He named this as the wiggle. But pretty much what the wiggle is that when you're looting a body, you don't want to sit still when looting a body. You want to keep yourself moving. Hopefully that'll throw off the targeting of if you're down the sights of a sniper rifle and you're moving, that could buy you just enough time for just to pick up the medical supplies and maybe dip out, before that sniper takes that headshot. If you're sitting still, you're vulnerable for, to snipers and anybody else that's just lurking around. Maybe they're using those bodies as bait, crates, whatever it is, anything that you loot. Just make sure you do the wiggle. It helps. So let's talk about crouch jumping. This is something that really impacts the game, and surprisingly not a lot of people know about this. I play with a lot of random players that's in my team, and I'll go leaping out of the window, or one of my buddies will go leaping out the window, and they're like, whoa, what the hell did he just do? Just jumped out the window. But yeah, it's called crouch jumping, guys. It's really it's tactically imperative in some situations that you take advantage of this exploit in the game, especially with these big windows like you see here on the bottom picture here. you know, this is awesome escape routes, guys. You know, if you're getting surrounded, like in this position here, this player is looking. You can see both of his teammates here. He could just hop out that window and then join his squad. Um, I would highly recommend watching Summit. He's a very popular streamer, YouTuber. He has made an awesome video on this as far as like how to set a hotkey and everything to be able to crouch jump a lot easier. You know, in the heat of the moment, you know, maybe you're not thinking about it. You know, you miss the crouch jump and then the window, and that actually could get you killed. So actually, Summit has a really unique way of being able to do this a lot easier. So also his link will also be in the description. So now let's talk about barefooting it. Okay, something I do sometimes. Honestly, I mean, if my majority of my team, you know, in the queue is not wearing shoes, I won't wear shoes. But for the most part, I like wearing boots. But it does decrease your sound slightly when moving. That's both in structures as well as outside. So I mean, if you're one of those paranoid guys, you know, you want your team to be stealthy. Don't be afraid to tell you that random guy in the team, hey man, take off your shoes, man. You know, it'll decrease the, you know, it'll decrease the noise of, you know, you're tiptoeing around, you know, little stuff like that. It could get you killed. So gliding with your parachute, this is something I'm absolutely horrible at, but it's so important, guys. I mean, if you're coming through, you know, let's say dead center on the map, you know, you're going directly across, and you know the plane drops, and you wanna hit the most northernmost city, which you can fly very, very far if you learn how to glide with your parachute in the correct way. YouTuber Magnus Dopest actually has a really cool video that he has made about, you know, really like getting the most out of your glide and how to do it, and he breaks it down into kilometers and speed and everything like that. It's something really interesting to watch, and it's something that's really helped me. I mean, if you don't want any interaction, you know, between you and your squad, you know, in the beginning of the game, you know, that it's really, really important. You know, you take advantage of your glide and, you know, how far you can go off your glide. So also his Magnus Dopus' link will be also in the description if you want to check him out. It's a really good video. Holstering your weapon. So this is kind of interesting. As far as the second part of this, which I'll talk about in a minute here, is why this is interesting. But everybody knows that holstering your weapon, you run just a little bit faster, right? Actually, it's 5% faster, and this was actually brought up on the recent patch. Chris Moore had put that in there. So yeah, it is 5%. If you're running with your assault weapon out, it decreases your speed by 4 to 5%. Pistols and SMGs are slightly faster running than most assault weapons, with an average of 3 to 4%. But I'll tell you, I mean, you don't want to holster your weapon always when running, especially, you know, when you're running away from gunfire. If you're cutting across an open field, or, you know, maybe, you know, you want to get to your teammate real quick, you know, he's 2 trees down from you, and, you know, your teammate's got your back, you know, shooting. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, take advantage of this. Holster your weapons. That 5%, that can really make a difference. So now let's talk about something that I didn't know about, that was brought up in the recent patch notes. Smoke grenades can actually end up getting you killed, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and read this off, this small text here. Many users have reported that the smoke generated from the smoke grenades is actually generated on the client, your PC, as opposed to the server, which means that the direction and general cover of the smoke that you see might not be the same as what everyone else sees. So that's actually really, it's awkward, right? You know, you drop a smoke, and, you know, you could see where the thickness of the smoke is, maybe right on top of the can. You know, you made sure to put a nice place smoke grenade on top of your buddy that's wounded, that's down, or maybe on top of a crate, and you think that you're covered, but on the other player's side, you're not. That might be a gap in the smoke. The density of the smoke, even maybe sometimes the direction of the smoke has been reported. It might not be the same as what you see on your screen. The developers have touched on this, and they did say that it isn't 100%, and it might take them a while to go ahead and try and fix that up. So, you guys, hopefully you guys learned a little something new to get you closer to that chicken dinner. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe on my channel if you want to see more future content. I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/itsbetrays. If you guys want to stop by when I'm streaming, don't be afraid to just come in and say hi. On my streaming and videos are normally real comical. I like to have a real good time, me and my buddies. Until the next one, guys. See you then.